welcome back to another video, and today we are doing a battle royale. We are going to do wing wars. Now, wing wars, we're using 3 different grills. In the red corner, weighing in at, I don't know, it's heavy. We're using the KJ, the Wsm, and the Kettle with the Pro Smoke Fuel Dome in it. So I've done Pro Smoke Fuel Dome before, I've done KJ before. The Wsm is a little bit of a wildcard entry. So in doing research for the video, I found a few guys that done them. I know you can do them with the coals in the bottom, leave all the deflectors out, and so you're really just grilling the wings, but all the other methods we're using are indirect. But I wanted it to be as fair as possible, so we've left the water bowl in, but it's empty, and I've just covered it in foil. Again, adding water in there, I didn't think it was going to be good for crispy skins. It's running at a much lower temperature than the other two, so this is why I was a little bit shocked. It's going to be a longer cook time. Don't know how that's going to fare with crispy skins, but thought it might as well throw it into the mix. Pro Smoke Fuel Dome, pretty simple, just fill it full of Weber Briquettes. The temperature on that is sitting sort of 225 or so. The Kamado Joe is just coming up on about 220 as well, so similar temperatures on both of those. The KJ has the deflector plates sitting on the accessory racks. They're sitting up higher, they're not in that low position. I think it helps with airflow whenever you're cooking high like that, and also stops a little bit of that radiant heat coming from the bottom. I've done wings quite a bit on the KJ and I've really liked them. You get that kind of mix between a grilled and an indirect wing, just from the heat from the deflector, but we'll see how it turns out today. Pro Smoke Fuel Dome turns out awesome wings. So Wsm, we've already gone ahead, lit that with a full chimney starter of briquettes dumped into it. We're not doing a long cook here, so I'm not using the minion method or anything like that. It's just a full chimney starter of lit briquettes dumped in. Temperature is riding around 130 to 140-ish, so it's sitting a little bit higher than you would normally run it. That's because there's no water in there and we've got so many lit coals going. But I thought that would be good for what we're doing. I've already put the wings on, so those have been on for I think around 40 minutes or so now, so I think we've probably another half hour or so left, so I'm going to get wings onto the other two, which is here. So as far as smoke goes, we are using hickory chunks. These are from Smokewood Shack, so I have 1 chunk going into each, so the smoke should be similar on all of them. Only real difference is fuel. Pro Smoke Fuel Dome and the Wsm are running on briquettes, whereas the KJ is running on big block lumpwood. This isn't a scientific experiment. Last time I done one of these comparisons I got a little bit of grief in the comment section. It's all for fun, just to try out a few different methods. This isn't anything about the grills, it's just different methods of cooking them to see what comes out. Rub's staying the same on them all. My trusty old, it's not my Yardbird rub, my favourite rub for wings is Yardbird, so we're sticking with that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All the wings have been dried off as best possible. They're not brined either. Sometimes I do a buttermilk brine, but since we're doing a crispy skin test, I thought it would be better to do without it. Good amount of rub on that side. Always one you miss. Give them all a flip over. Right, and do the other side. Hopefully we can get these all coming off around the same time. Looks good to me. So I'll get these on. I won't be stopping throughout the cook. They should cook pretty fast on the Fuel Dome and the KJ. Hopefully they'll be finished around the same time as the Wsm. As far as the cook goes, we'll flip the wings halfway through just for even cooking purposes. You can watch this next little sequence. I'll show you what I've done with each of them, how they're cooking. Then we're going to get them off, toss them all in the same hot sauce, and we'll see which ones turn out well.
I've got my feet in the mud and you don't realize how with a walk down the alley you got me twice.
Okay, all the wings are off. I don't want to mess about too much because I want to get these tossed in sauce before they cool down too much. So total cook time, Kamado Joe was around 20 minutes. As you can see from them, there are sort of like gnarly little charred bits. That's from the direct heat coming from the diffuser. So that's why I say they're kind of a mixture between a grilled wing and an indirect wing. So 20 minutes on them. These were about an hour and 20 minutes. So they were obviously went on first. I've took all of them to an internal temperature of around 87ish. A couple of them a little bit higher. Obviously flats cook that little bit faster, but as best my ability I've tried to keep them all around that 87. The Pro Smoke Fuel Dome went a little bit longer than the KJ. Not as dark a colour on them from the charred bits. They went for around 30 minutes or so when they started to hit temperature. So I'm going to hold one of each back with no sauce on them, but quickly I want to get them into the sauce so it tacks up to the surface while they're still hot. Right now, if I'm hard eating them, the smoke smell coming from that sauce is incredible. Oh. I thought it was going to be coming off the wings first, plus there's still a little bit of smoke seeping out of some of the barbecues, but no, it is 100% coming out of that sauce. Right, the ones without sauce first. This is a test for the skins. KJ wing first. Still really nice and moist inside. Skin is 100% crispy, almost like crunchy in places. And little bits that have sort of caught from the heat from the deflector. But it is nice, but there's a definite grilled flavour off them. Now, only downfall of that one, there's not an awful lot of smoke flavour. That said, it does taste more like a grilled wing than a indirect smoked wing, if that makes sense. Now, wild card. This is the Wsm Wing, cooked at 140°C. Took about an hour and 20 minutes ish. Okay, they feel quite dry. I don't know if I'm holding out much hope for this one, but shouldn't judge. Let's go. Rub stands out much better on that one. The chicken inside is still nice and moist, coming away from the bone nicely, but the skin has gone pretty tough. It's not pulling away in one bite, but compared to that one, KJ one, I think it's definitely better, but smoke better on this one, rub better on this one. It's just not as nice a bite. You just need to tell me if my face is covered in wing stuff. I'm such a mess by the end of this. A little bit too dry for my liking. Maybe the sauce will have helped it. Right. Old Faithful. Pro Smoke Fuel Dome. No sauce. Skin does not feel as crispy as these ones, but that's more the charred bits. It does feel tender, however, and nice and soft. One way to find out. Much juicier wing than these. Rub comes through just as well as this one does. Much better rub than this one. Again, not as crispy as I would have liked or thought. The skin is tender, but it's not crispy. Right, after round one, Wsm has fallen far behind. Nowhere near as nice as the other two. This one has taken on a distinctly more charred flavour than this one, Pro Smoke. The Pro Smoke has better smoke and rub flavour, but the skin's not as nice as the KJ. Now it is time for the sauced ones. Sorry, go back the other way. So this is Pro Smoke Fuel Dome. That's a nice sauce. Wing is nice and juicy. It's a nice bite through wing. Definitely a hard one to beat, I think. Right. Now, Wsm with sauce. Don't know if it's going to do this any favours or not. No, it hasn't. Don't get me wrong, they're perfectly edible wings, but when you stack it up against these two, there's a night and day difference between them. Maybe I'm just doing the method wrong. As I didn't see that many guys doing it, but there's definitely a few videos where guys were actually done them a little bit lower, done them for around 2 hours. But I really didn't think real low and slow was going to work on them, so I kept the temperatures up a little bit. But they've just dried out around the outside. The skin has just toughened up, gone like rubber. Nah. Out of the running, so we're down to Pro Smoke and KJ. So let's give one a go. Yeah, I don't know if you can see, even though if this will focus on, I was trying to focus on my face. The colour difference on the KJ wings compared to the Pro Smoke ones. But it's purely from the grilling. I think Pro Smoke has took on smoke much better because it wasn't such an intense cook, but it's all down to taste at the end of the day. So, less of a crunch off them since they've been sauced. It's kind of soaked into those crispy bits and softened them down slightly. Skin is still good. Oh, it's a hard one to decide, you know. Right, let's get down to verdicts. If we're testing methods and this one's completely out, it's a disaster, don't like it at all. Let me know in the comments if I'm doing something wrong or if there's a different way of doing it. I know the whole putting charcoal on the bottom, taking the water bolt out completely and just grilling them over that high level. This is supposed to be indirect wings, and this to me is not a truly indirect wing. They've only gone really crispy because they have that radiant heat coming from the deflector plates. So if we're going true indirect wing, rub and smoke flavour. Whenever they're sauced, there's not as much of a difference, but whenever they're dry, the smoke flavour is much better on these ones, and the rub flavour is much better. This, again, has took on that grilled flavour from that radiant heat. Skin's much crispier on them, so if we're going overall flavour, Pro Smoke has to win. If we're going crispy skins, this one has to win, even though it's not truly indirect, if you ask me. But if you set a bowl of either of those down in front of me, I'd be a very happy man. In fact, I have a bowl in front of me. I am a very happy man. So, I've no doubt you've got your opinions on it. Which one should be... Oh, I should mention price difference. Now, in the last video I done was a comparison with these. I did get comments asking what the price difference was between the KJ and the Wsm. Fair enough, there is about 700-800 quid price difference. There's probably slightly more when you go Kettle and the Fuel Dome against the Kamado Joe. But we're not talking about the actual cookers themselves, we're talking about the methods of doing them. So this is Pro Smoke Fuel Dome indirect. This is just indirect on the KJ with deflector plates in, that slightly grilled thing. I'm sure you have your opinions on it, I want to hear them. This is just my non-scientific way of trying this out, see which worked. Don't waste your time doing wings in the Wsm, but if you have either of these two methods, you're going to be more than happy. So leave a comment below, let me know what you think, what other ways there are maybe of doing wings. I can try them out in the future. Quite like doing these comparison videos, so you guys all know by now what grills I have. If there's anything you want to see me do head to head, leave it in the comments below. I will stick it onto the video list and have a go at it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.
In the morning light from